Normally, a torn pec is generally not an issue for athletes in most all sports. And this gentleman here, Trey Telligman, definitely proved that. He had a severe torn pec and he was a great MMA fighter. But it's a different story in bodybuilding. And today we are going to take a look at 7 of the worst body parts in the history of bodybuilding. And I know that sounds terrible, but hear me out now. These guys all had great physiques. And a thing like a torn pec, like this guy, Johnny Fuller, the thing about that is he looked great before it happened. I mean, look at this guy's physique. And when you're perfect, you really notice something like that even more. So this video is not meant to really drag these guys' names through the dirt, things of that nature. If you are featured on this video, you can rest assured that you do have a fantastic physique. And look at Johnny Fuller. He was outstanding. Now watch the right pec here. Boom. See that? And you can't really notice it that bad in this picture. Look at the front relaxed. Now there's a lot of bodybuilders out there that had great stellar careers with torn pecs. I mean, Kevin Levrone had a torn pec, but this was a pretty severe torn pec. But Johnny Fuller, God bless him, he didn't let it get him down. He competed for years and years with that torn pec. But anyway, a shout out to Johnny Fuller. Aside from that torn pec, if he didn't have that, the guy could have won Mr. Olympia. And that's not speaking too loose. He was actually quite phenomenal, to be honest with you. And that leads me to my next man, number 2 on this list, Tom Platts and his torn bicep. Now, much like everybody on this list, before this, bicep tear, this incident happened, he was a picture of perfection. There was nothing, no flaws in this physique whatsoever, and then all of a sudden it happened. He tore his bicep during a workout. He's hospitalized, things of that nature. Robbie Robinson visited him in the hospital after hours. He had no idea how he got past security, things of that nature. But anyway. And it severely affected his performance and his front double bicep pose in particular. This was him in 1980 or 81 rather, full bicep. Now watch the right bicep. Oh, you see that? Definitely a glaring omission, and it's going to do some severe damage to you in your bodybuilding career for sure. I mean, Tom Platts, he was poised to win the Mr. Olympia. And right beside him, you might take note, another gentleman, Chris Dickerson, who did in fact win the Olympia in 82. He had a torn bicep as well. He also had a torn pec, much like Johnny Fuller. But that's not why he is number 3 on this list. It is because of his pointy elbow. You see that? That's a pointy elbow, fellas. Anyway, with all due respect to Dickerson, I looked at some earlier photos of Dickerson. I mean, this is earlier on in his career, and it still looked like he had somewhat of a extended elbow. But of course, a little bit later on in his career, wow. You definitely cannot miss that when somebody mentions it. Sure, it added some width on this front lat spread, but I mean, I don't think that's the width that he was looking for. So with all due respect, may he rest in peace. But I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. You have to notice this elbow. And he was a Mr. Olympia champion, keep in mind. So he was under the fine microscope. But still, I think this is the largest elbow that I've ever seen. Number 4 on the list, Ronnie King Coleman and his torn lat. And it is his right lat, as you can see here, but from behind, as we'll see in just a minute, it is his left lat that also got deteriorated away. Now, this is Ronnie King Coleman in 2005. He was dominant. This is when he took his last Mr. Olympia title. Hey, he looked as good as ever, and you can see both lats fully intact. Now, watch in 06. You see that? And if you've ever wondered why did he lose his title all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure it's because he tore his lat. I mean, you can obviously see that. Aside from his lat, guys, Ronnie King Coleman looks big as a house in 2006. Now, here's the picture from behind. It appears to be the opposite lat. I know it's on the same side, but he's turned around. He's turned around. Can be confusing. You can see his lower lat insertion. Now watch by '07. Completely gone. You can see his lower lat, or his lower back. You can see it's crawled all the way up to his lat, and it's just, it's going to affect your career. So it's a darn shame, but hey, the guy won 8 Mr. Olympia titles, and food for thought. This is '07, his last year, and aside from the lat, which obviously you can see, he was phenomenal. Might even have defeated Jay Cutler that year, who came in soft as a bar of soap. But that's not what this video is about, although that is interesting. But yeah, Ronnie King Coleman, both of his lats, his right and his left lat. And that leads me to the next gentleman, Dennis Wolf. And he is featured here for a couple of reasons. First, his lats, his right and his left lat, both just completely deteriorated away. Very unsightly, with all due respect. And also, we'll throw in as a bonus, his calves, both of his calves, just completely gone. But anyway, I know that sounds mean, but guys, look at him in '07. Look at the back. Just full and thick. Just unbelievable. So, as bad as it sounds to talk bad about these guys, hey, they're getting all this praise as well, so don't kid yourself. We're all humans at the end of the day, and this is just unbelievable. I mean, Dennis Wolf, big old thick set of calves, if you can imagine that. Now, by 2013, his conditioning, all those things of all that nature had improved for sure, but you can see it's his left calf that started. His right calf looks okay. His back looks okay too. Maybe not as low in the lat insertions, but I mean, not too bad. And by the next year, 2014, I could really notice, even from the front shots, Dennis Wolf, his calves were completely gone. So I think for sure something happened. It's not like the guy didn't train his calves. I mean, that's ridiculous to think so. Now, by 2015, you could see his calves definitely gone, and his lower lat insertions almost a thing of the past as well. And he seemingly retired. But he returned, which in my opinion was a mistake. He returned in 2018, and his back was just raw. It was gone, right down to the bone. His calves were no worse. Well, they're both completely gone now, his calves, but obviously everywhere else he has lost size, but the lats themselves just completely gone. A thing of the past. And like I said, guys, I know that sounds negative and all, but when you do the side by side, I mean, what am I to do? Not notice this? Not show you guys this drastic damage done to this once incredible back and more than passable calves? Look at the size of those calves. Not too bad at all. And just completely gone by 2018. Anyway, with all due respect, and that leads me to this gentleman, and he is number 6 on the list, Phil the Gift Heath, or, and the reason why he's here, Louis Marco coined this phrase, Phil the Gut Heath. And if you guys weren't fans of bodybuilding back then, you guys missed the Bubble Gut Bonanza fiasco.
Bubble gut. Hey boy, drop it down. Let me see that touch the ground. We have a bubble gut bonanza. Drop it down like a belly dancer. Bubble gut. Bubble gut.
Anyway. This is what Phil Heath looked like when he first started his career. And Bubble Gut Bonanza, nowhere in sight. And his career progressed by, I believe, 2008. He looked phenomenal. He put on beef everywhere. And midsection still in check. When did the Bubble Gut Bonanza begin? The Bubble Gut Bonanza, in my opinion, and this might upset a few, it was in 2013. His so-called best version. Now, don't get me wrong. Arms, back, legs. Even his facial expressions. I mean, 2013 was mint. And as far as all those things I mentioned, arms, back, things of that nature, it was superior to 2011, but have a look. This might be eye-opening to some of you. I mean, yes, his arms are a lot smaller, you can notice that, but I mean, and even his chest is less bulbous, vascular. In 2013, he's a beast. But his midsection, nowhere near as crisp and clean, no caffeine, as he is in 2011. But anyway, this video is about the bubble gut of Phil Heath, and that's why he is on here. And he did win the title, in fact, in 2013. So by 2014, oh my goodness, now this is the bubble gut bonanza. This is, I think, when it really began. Louis Marco jumped all over him with videos and songs about the bubble gut bonanza, and of course it coined that phrase, bubble gut. I mean, Phil Heath, this was a triple trouble, double triple trouble bubble gut. Wow, that's a tongue twister and a half. Now the following couple of years, 2015 and 16, he did make some improvements, in particular 2015, but by 2017, wow, arguably, this was the worst. This was the worst gut that Phil Heath ever displayed. Not to mention, he had about a 3-inch belly button sticking out too, so really, unsightly. But they awarded him the title. He still won. And in 2018, he actually, in my opinion now, I might get jumped all over on this, he actually did improve his midsection from 2017. I think 2018 wasn't too bad. And of course, he brought the gut back in 2020. But still, nowhere near as triple trouble double bubble gut as he was in 2017. So the 2017 triple trouble bubble gut, Phil Heath. That is why he is on this video. One of the worst body parts in bodybuilding history. So what's the worst? What's the worst? I'm sure you bodybuilding nerds like myself know exactly what's number one. Dorian Yates and his old busted up, just raw bone arm. What a completely crummy display of a bodybuilding part. This is the absolute worst. And he won the biggest title in bodybuilding with this piece of bone and a couple of scraps of muscle. And don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying Dorian Yates as a human being is a scumbag. I'm not saying that at all. But his arm definitely is so. When you compare, look at him in 1993. 2 full round arms. Not the best Arnold Schwarzenegger peaks, but I mean they were there. And lo and behold, like Tom Platts, he tore his bicep training, of course, in 1994 for the Olympia. And you look at him in 94 and you cannot miss it. And it's not funny, but I mean, his forearm was still huge. Go to 95, still same thing. 96, you can see his forearm and the bicep itself, his left bicep, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And by 1997, behold, the absolute number one worst body part in the history. Look at that elbow. I take that back what I said earlier. This is the biggest elbow that I've ever seen. He did his best to hide it. And, kudos for him. But I mean, eventually it's going to be exposed in that front double bicep pose. So he should have maybe not won this event. Then he wouldn't have taken so much criticism. Even the triceps gone. Look at that. What a display. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, little bit of negativity, but hopefully it'll get me some positivity in the view count. And hit thumbs up as well. And I really hope you did enjoy this type of content. Let me know in the comments section below. All of these guys, they're gods to me. So when I make fun of them like that, hey, if it gets us a laugh at their expense, I'm sure they don't give up. Hit thumbs up, subscribe. Have a great day.